can say whatever you like about Islam or the Prophet in the name of free speech, but when other communities and other religions are hurt, suddenly you can't do it. Suddenly there are limits, and that applies to the Danish... One last point, David. The Danish cartoons, which started this off in 2006, they published those cartoons of the Prophet. Did you know that 3 years earlier, they were given cartoons mocking Jesus and the resurrection, and the editor said, I won't publish them because they'll provoke an outrage. But outraging Muslims, that's fine. But he wouldn't do it with Jesus. All I'm saying is, let's be consistent one way or the other.
It's been going on a very long time.
I'm sure
Did you look at the last Christmas private eye? For mocking Jesus, for mocking Mary, for doing it brilliantly, crudely, coarsely, cleverly. The idea...
Well, the private eye is not the equivalent, David, as you know, of Charlie Hebdo.
Sorry, but you said that there's discrimination against Muslims. This seems to me...
I'm saying... hang on a second. People use free speech as a cover for saying...
Let's just go back to the question. David Starkey.
I'm just saying it's rubbish.
David Starkey, the question that Hamid...
It's not rubbish. I give you factual examples.
Just wait. Hamid Bukhari said, free speech is good, but where do you draw the line before it becomes harmful and offensive? What's your answer to his question?
You draw it, as it were, as narrowly as possible. Free speech is the foundation and freedom of thought is the foundation of what we are. It is why in the last 400 or 500 years, this tiny little speck of earth called Europe has transformed the world, rethought humanity. And the lack of it, I'm afraid, is why Islam is now primitive and backward after having been glorious. The early days of Islam, when Islam had conquered most of the Roman Empire, when it was dealing with people with the inheritance of Greece, with the inheritance of the Chaldees, with the inheritance of India, Islam was the center of the intellectual universe because it was open, it was diverse, it was welcoming, it accepted challenge. The moment Islam turned on itself, forgot freedom of thought and freedom of speech, it is dying. Nothing has been written in Arabic that matters for at least the last 5 centuries.
But saving the history lesson for a moment.
No, because the history lesson...
That's not what the question... Yeah. The question...
I said draw the limits as narrowly as possible. Because
all right, well, where would you draw them?
As narrowly as possible.
But that's easy to say. What do you mean by it?
Well, I think the word narrow has got a very clear limit.
Well, should Charlie Hebdo have published the cartoon in the way they did?
Of course. Religion has got no privilege whatever. We heard the Pope today saying that religion is specially privileged. This is nonsense. Why? The idea that because you feel strongly about something means that nobody must challenge you is an absurdity. People feel very strongly about stupid things, and they hate being challenged. We've heard that already. Now, again, I'm going to step right out of line here. I'm sure we will hear from Ahmed. In France, there are very strict rules, as there are in most of continental Europe, that you cannot say that the Holocaust did not happen, called Holocaust denial. I would repeal that law completely. It is totally unnecessary. We had a wonderful example of a man called David Irving, who was a great Holocaust denier. He was sent to jail in Austria. That made him a martyr. When he sued a publisher who had published a book which said that he was a liar and a fool, he was taken to pieces by freedom of speech, by my colleague Richard Evans, who shredded him in a way that no law could. Freedom of speech is us.